Right there in the corner beside me.
What's up, guys? You know who it is. Marcus J. Jackson with another Live Life episode for you. Live Life number 49. Why don't you just leave? All right? Why don't you just leave? A lot of times, those of us who have never been in a abusive situation, we sometimes ask that question. Why don't you just leave? But you don't realize that it's very, very difficult for someone to leave a situation like that, and it is not always. It is not, always the easy thing to do. There's a lot of moving parts that have to come together in order for someone to successfully leave a relationship that's abusive, physically abusive for that matter, because leaving becomes the most dangerous part of the relationship. And I hope you guys can hear me okay. I don't know if, I doubt if anybody's on just yet, but sure. So anyway, special guest tonight, the beautiful Foxye Jackson is in the building. All right, founder of I Speak Foxye Facebook page, founder of I Speak Foxye organization, if you will. Okay, cool. You can hear it. All right, awesome. So yes, I am glad we made it to South Dakota. We hanging out in South Dakota. Actually, it is 1:50 here, so it's 12:50 there. So we got here and I got set up. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and hop on. Huh?
It's 12:50 here. It's 1:50 there.
Oh, is it 1:50 there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just made it. Okay. I thought it says 1:50 right here.
Right. This is set off of.
But
our phones are automatically change time zones.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, 12:50 there. Well, anyway, sorry, ran a little late on you guys, but anyway, but not for my YouTube family. But anyway, quick shout out to everybody that's living life to the fullest, man. Thank you for living life. Let's get some mindfulness out real quick, okay? I want us to be mindful for the simple fact that there are those who like to play the victim card, or they have a victim mentality. All right. But my purpose for these videos is to empower you. Although these things happened in the past, and yes, they did happen a long time ago. However, the emotional scars or stress that we refuse to deal with, and we just bury it, and we just push those emotions to the side or detach from those emotions. What we don't realize is that these things come full circle. All right. So the emotions that you refuse to deal with, or that you say, oh, I can just move on from it. Oh, I can just forget about it and move on with my life. Oh, I'm not going to be stuck in the past. Oh, I'm not going to be a victim. Well, you don't realize that you are actually being a victim by saying that I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to bury these emotions, never ever think about them again, and so on and so forth. It is subconsciously, those thoughts are there. They internalize through your mindset. They internalize through your, they externalize through your mindset, through your body. The way that you deal with people, or your lack of ability to deal with people. All right. And you can definitely tell when someone hasn't really gone through anything, because they only see the negative side of things. right? They only see the negative, you know, when someone's dealing with something of a traumatic incident. Either they haven't been through anything or they don't know what the experience is like. Okay, and you can say, you know, this is my business and this is your business, and you know, people deal with their situations the way that they see fit or the way that's best for them, right? People make decisions based on what's best for them, right? So we're in no position to tell somebody what to do or what not to do. The only thing that we can do is try to empower and bring positivity to the situation, you know, shed a little bit of information when we come across it and try to build up, not tear down. And that's how you know the message that you're receiving is garbage from people who try to tear you down. You know, their motives for trying to do something, their intentions is to tear you down, right? And that lends to the whole abusive concept right there. I mean, you know, but a lot of people do it. They do it for money. A lot of people do it for, you know, marketing purposes. A lot of people, you know, they lash out, you know, and it's a marketing technique, and I totally get it. They lash out at people for attention, and the attention draws people. The things that you say, you know, whether they're positive or negative, it draws people. So when you say these things about, oh, people are weak-minded who talk about being abused and experience, you know, all that good stuff, right? It's that shock and awe, you know, marketing technique. You know, people want to listen to it, people want to see it, and they want to try to figure out, you know, what is this guy talking about, or who is this guy, right? Or who are these people that do these types of things, right? So it kind of draws you in to figure out, you know, is this for real, or what is he talking about? You know, then they turn around and flip something, and they're trying to sell you something off of you so-called playing the victim card. All right, so just be mindful of things like that, guys, and be mindful of people who by default abuse you so they can sell you something to keep you from being abused. So I just want to put that out there real quick. So, but anyway, let me get off that soapbox there for a second, and let's go into it. All right, let's take a few moments just to ground ourselves real quick. All right, because I did travel, 16 hours, 16-hour trip. So, and then we had a slew of things to go on, but hey, we are here. So let's just take a moment to ground ourselves. All right, just do our diaphragmatic breathing. Excuse me. We're gonna take 3 good deep breaths. All right. Number 1, allow the belly to fill. Right. Take a deep breath. One more time. Take a deep breath. One more time. Take a deep breath. Ah. All right. Good, good. You okay? You good? You here? Oh, my baby is tired. She is so tired. So anyway, like I said, I got special guest Foxye Jackson in the building. Hopefully, is anybody on? Can you say something?
Hello.
Can you guys hear Foxye? It looks like one person might be on. No. Oh, they're gone. Oh well. Hopefully they can hear you. The mic should catch you.
They're like, oh, they saw me.
All right. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. People who have never been abused often wonder why persons would just leave an abusive relationship. They don't understand that leaving can be more complicated than it seems. And you can, let me make sure I put this in the comments real quick. the Lifeline. Lifeline.org. O-R-G. Okay. And there we go. What? No. The hotline.org. Okay, remove that. Hold on. Delete that. Okay, here we go. Dot the hotline. Hotline.org. Alright. There it is. Okay, cool. So you can go to the hotline.org, and also what was my suicide prevention? What was that? I'll put it on there when I get finished. Okay, so anyway, let's go with all right. So leaving is often the most dangerous time for wait a minute, my darn, got my notes all jacked up. Oh, come on, really? All right, here we go. Okay, so leaving is often the most dangerous time for a victim of abuse, because abuse is about power and control. Then I would say force and control as opposed to power, because power vibrates a lot higher than force. Anyway, when a victim leaves, they are taking control and threatening the abusive partner's power, which could cause the abusive partner to retaliate in very destructive ways. All right. Aside from this danger, there are many reasons why people stay in abusive relationships. Here are just a few of them, a few of the common ones. All right. So number one is fear. You want to touch on that one a little bit, Miss Foxye?
I was pulling up one of the articles. Fear is one of the most crippling emotions there is. It resonates very much lower than courage. I'm sorry. Fear is one of the most crippling emotions there is. It resonates below courage, and it is it makes people go back. It makes people too afraid to lead. It makes people too afraid to speak. I've had women who were afraid to admit that their partners did something to them because they may have been threatened. They may be afraid of what the partner will do to their children. Threats that they will call CPS, threats that they will kill the children, threats that they will take the children. Some of them threaten the life of the other partner. What are some of the other ones that they throw? Threats that they're gonna make them lose their job.
You said children already?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because they'll come up to the other person's job. They'll call up to the other person's job.
Oh yeah.
And fear that if they leave and the partner finds them, that they're going to, quote, get in trouble. And so they will stay they will stay there to prevent getting in trouble, essentially, what they call getting in trouble. And that may be a beating, that may be having to go without food, that may be their children having to go without food,
Right.
that may be their children getting beat on. So there's many reasons. Fear of not being able to take care of their children financially, fear of not having anywhere to go, fear that if they do go to a family member's house, that they're going to be found there.
Right.
You even have some family members who will call the abusive partner and tell them that the one who is being abused is their location.
Right.
So there's a lot of fear of lack of support, because they've been in it for so long, and now that they get ready to get out of it, nobody's going to help them. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about fear right now.
Okay. I know for a fact that in the LGBTQ community, a lot of times there's a fear of being outed, right? So if someone's in a relationship and they haven't come out to their family yet, the person, the abuser, will threaten to say, hey, if you leave, or if you try to run away or whatever, I'll tell your family that, I'll tell them about your lifestyle. I'll reveal the secret. All right. And that is underlining, that fear is something that can be overcome simply by, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
By simply having a knowledge of self and being comfortable with who you are, and accepting who you are. And a lot of times that may disconnect us from the family, that may disconnect us from our support system.
Yeah.
But that is the step of becoming independent, which is a foundation of empowerment, overcoming fear in general. So, but yeah, definitely, fear is a big thing, really, really big thing. There's also embarrassment or shame, and it's often difficult for someone to admit that they're even being abused, and they may feel like they've done something wrong, or by becoming involved with an abusive partner, right? And the shame and embarrassment comes from the family, like, you still with this person? Why would you do that? Like, why would you disgrace the family by being with this person? We don't tolerate stuff like that. We didn't raise you to be beat on and all this kind of stuff. So you don't say, hey, he looks like an abuser, I think I'm going to sign up for that.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, you worry about your friends and your family and how they'll judge you. And I totally get it. I mean, I totally understand. Now, for the empowerment part of that is, once you accept yourself, no matter what it is that you're going through, if you accept the fact that, hey, I need to evolve. This is something that I need to grow from. I could care less about what my friends and family think, right? I don't need their approval. Seeking someone else's approval is what got me in this position in the first place. Okay, so the embarrassment and the shame is just like we're doing a book review in Power versus Force. That's a very, very low vibration, and in order to vibrate higher, you have to come with a little with knowledge first seeking a little bit of knowledge on how to vibrate higher, right? And when you do so, understanding that accepting oneself is the number one thing that kind of gets you into that realm of not really giving a fuck about what people think. Okay, that is the biggest step right there. And once you cannot care about what people think, it is everything else becomes a little easier. All right. So did you want to add anything to embarrassment or shame?
Yes, a lot of that comes from the mental abuse that's also involved in domestic violence.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen suddenly. I mean, you don't meet someone and then they just start beating on you, and they begin this relationship of domestic violence. It usually starts out that they're real nice, they're real cordial, chivalrous, they open doors, they bring you flowers, they tell you really nice things, they give you attention, they want to spend time with you, and then all of a sudden it's you get comfortable and used to that, and then they get angry one day and they call you a name. A rat, a trick, bitch, whore, and then they start questioning your whereabouts.
Right.
And it becomes a questioning not because it's a part of the conversation, but a questioning because it's an interrogation. Where were you? Where have you been? Who were you with? Why didn't you call? Why didn't you answer when I called? Why didn't you text me back? And you could have texted them back, but it wasn't like an immediate text back. And then it becomes to be accusatory, accusing you of being with someone else, accusing you of being somewhere else. Accusing you of not loving them. And so it becomes a shameful situation because I'm cold.
You want to get your coat?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
It becomes a shameful situation because you spent so much time and effort putting up a front that everything's okay, and lying about everything being okay. And so now it's time to face your reality, and it's something that you just are ashamed to do. When the truth of the matter is that you're going to face it one way or the other. Either you're going to face it head on, or when they discover your body, they're going to know that you were part of a domestic violence experience. So either way it goes, they're going to know. So why not let them know while you're alive? And there comes a time when you have to just say, who gives a
fuck?
Okay, do you cuss or anything?
I do.
Okay. There comes a time when you have to say, who gives a fuck? Who knows?
Yeah.
I need to get out of it, and I need to be safe, and I'm worthy of it. I'm deserving of being in a healthy relationship. I'm worthy of real, genuine love. And sometimes ones who are in these types of relationships have no idea what real, genuine love is.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. There is an element of us out there that actually believe that that abuse is normal. I mean, they don't know what a healthy relationship is, or they don't realize that they're in an unhealthy relationship because that has been the norm in their life. They've grown up watching their mother get abused, grandmother get abused. It's generational, right? It's a generational spell, if you will. Because the words, they control us. It's really powerful how these things work. But you know, like you don't, if you've never had wow, that's even, I don't even know how to say that. So if you've never been in a lot of times we've never even had a healthy experience with the opposite sex.
Right.
You know, so the situation, like you don't even, so anytime, anything that you get, any kind of attention that you get, you cling to it because you don't know any better, right? So anytime that you may get what you want, like I had a young lady that I talked to. She thought that because her man was feeding her and buying her weed, he was treating her like a queen. You know, and I was like, wow, you know, I get, you know, I understand the concept. I get it. You know, and I'm not, it's just that that's where she was mentally. That was her view of a good relationship. And I was just like, wow, you know, and to find, for her to find out that it was something more, you know, that she could have something more, or there was more. It would be better if someone offered you more, you know, like, do you think you're worth more than weed and food? You know, but where her mindset was is that as long as I have these two things, I'm comfortable. You know, I got my basic needs met, so I'm good to go. You know, so hey, I you know, like I said, I understand it. I totally get it, but there is more. Like you are, you know, you're worth more. You know, than a couple of dollars for some food and, you know, a couple of dollars for weed. So, you know, and it takes from there, you can go nowhere but up. There's always room for improvement at that point. So, you know, by all means, yeah, you know, we can work with it. but yeah, just having the common knowledge of what a healthy relationship is sometimes lacking. You know, there's an element of us that just don't know what a good relationship is. So, you know, they may not recognize it when they see one because they've never seen one. So the only way you're going to get better, or the only way you're going to want more, is you have to do and see more. You know, I can remember as a child, I never the idols in the streets were, you know, the drug dealers or the sports athletes, and like in the preachers and the pastors, those were the quote unquote idols, right? But had I never gone to Korea, you know, when I was in the military, I would have never saw of the concept of Buddha. You know, I would have never learned the concept of yin and yang and astrology and different things like that had I not traveled different places where I was exposed to something like that. If you don't know that there's something more out there, then you're not going to want for anything more. So, you know, to kind of overcome that lack of knowledge, I would invite you to travel more, get out more, you know, experience, you know, just get out, go see people. You know, if you can't go see people, research. Google healthy relationships and just go down the line and read, you know, some of the things that, you know, that can definitely help. And when you start to read those things, you start to see those things, they become a reality. You can imagine and you can visualize, you know, that ideal relationship. But if you never see anything different, right, and you just stay in those four walls, you know, for the rest of your life, and you never get out, then the only thing you're going to know is that relationship with you and those four walls. All right. So anything you want to add, ma'am?
It reminds me of the video in that Lil Wayne's video, Teach Me How to Love.
Ah, yeah.
Where the girl in there starts off as a baby, and her mom and her dad are fighting, and then her dad goes to jail. Her mom takes her to the jail to see her dad. Her dad gets out of jail, and there's just more constant abuse. And then, her mom gets a new boyfriend. The new boyfriend rapes the girl, and the girl turns to prostitution and street life. And then it rewinds to her actually having mom and dad at home, or mom and dad involved in her life, and she ends up leading a totally different life. And that reminds me of the adverse childhood experiences. They do affect you as an adult. And although we have spoken of this before, and I've always said that when things happen to people when they're children, a part of them remains there. In that experience, they have now, the American Association of Pediatrics has now done research to show that when a child has an adverse experience, that it is reflected in their health and wellness as an adult. So it is important that we begin to seek out those relationships that are positive examples of what a healthy relationship is. Because oftentimes when the only thing that a person has known is an unhealthy relationship, that becomes their normal. That becomes their measuring tool by which they measure all other relationships. And so when they have a healthy relationship comes along, it seems abnormal, and it makes them feel uneasy and makes them feel like there's something wrong. It's just because it's something that they're not used to. And it takes an adjustment period to get used to healthy love.
Thank you, the beautiful Foxye Jackson. Real quick, let me put this plug in real quick. The I Speak Foxye healing event is going to be a retreat this year, not this year, but next year, April 2019, April 25th, April 26th through the 28th. Is going to be a retreat, and it is focused on empowering women who have experienced sexual assault, sexual violence, domestic violence, men, women, and children as well. Right? We are accepting. Well, I Speak Foxye is accepting donations for scholarships to attend this event. She's also accepting donations for clothes, toiletries, and what else?
I need some baby stuff right now,
baby stuff,
baby boy stuff, baby girl stuff, diapers, wipes.
Okay.
I have a new mother.
Okay, cool. So, and here's what the donations are for. When people are trying to get out of situations like this, they need toiletries. That's the biggest thing. And sometimes they need money. They need like cash on hand because they're leaving with the clothes on their back. They didn't have time to pick up ID. They didn't have time to pick up credit cards and all this kind of stuff. The opportunity was there for them to leave, so they took it. So whatever, I feel like if Kanye can ask for $1 billion, I figure we can ask for $1 donation to help out. The average people that watch videos are anywhere from 50 to 100 on the Facebook platform. So, if everybody could donate $1, that would be awesome. It would be very appreciated. It is going to something worthwhile, very beneficial. But yes, that retreat is going to be off the chain, and we definitely want to try and get those who really need it there, and the scholarships will be available. And but of course, we can't do it alone, so we need your help. All right, so if you can donate, if you can't, hey, share this video. You never know who it might helps. All right, who it may help, or who it helps. There we go. That's that 16 hours kicking in.
Yeah, it's more than that. We started at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Oh yeah. We took our time. It was cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Excuse me. I'm about to lose my beautiful real quick. So let me hurry up and end this video. So low self-esteem, and this is a big one. When an abusive partner constantly puts someone down and blames them for the abuse, like they blame you for having to abuse you. It's like, well, you made me do this after they done, they beat the hell out of you, or they talk about you like a dog, but it's your fault. It's your fault. You made me do this. You made me treat you this way, and so on and so forth, right? So it can be easy for the victim to believe stuff like that because they have low self-esteem, and they think that the abuse is actually their fault, right? It's that what is that? That's not really the Stockholm syndrome. No, bad whatchamacallit. Anyway, bad example. But these things can happen so much, and your self-esteem can be brought down so low that you actually feel like this is something that you deserve. You deserve to be treated like this, and like Foxye said, this is how you view a relationship, and it's not. Let me tell you that it does not have to be that way. Okay, you can be in a relationship where nobody's putting you down, nobody's treating you bad, nobody's physically, mentally, or emotionally abusing you. Those type of relationships do exist. There are men out there who will treat you well. There are women out there that will treat you well. Okay, but you have to start with you, right? It starts with you by seeking the opportunity, by creating the opportunity for you to experience something different. Okay, so yes, definitely low self-esteem. I did a video on how to have beast mode confidence. Scroll through the timeline and find that video, or go to my YouTube channel at Marcus J. Jackson and go to how to. I think I put 5 ways to develop beast mode confidence. Very, very valuable information on there. All right, so check that out. Then the next one's going to be love. So often the victim feels love for their abuser, from the abusive partner. They may have children with them and want to maintain their family. Abusive people can often be charming, especially at the beginning of the relationship, like Foxye was saying earlier. And the victim may hope that their partner will go back to being that person. That is one of the biggest challenges, is figuring out that you cannot change this person, right? And we stick around in a relationship hoping that it doesn't even have to be an abusive relationship. You're in a relationship with somebody and you're just like, oh, well, they're treating you bad. You're footing the bill on everything. You know that you're putting forth the effort to try to hold on to the relationship and maintain the relationship, and it's just you and only you. It's a one-way road. You're doing everything, right? But you hold on for years at a time because you think that the person's going to change, right? And unfortunately, that rarely happens.
No, it's because of the first synapse, the first impression. The person's first impression of the abuser is one who's charming, one who's loving, one who is giving and supportive. And so after anything that happens after that is measured against the first impression. Just like your first relationship with the opposite sex, every other relationship is going to be measured based upon that relationship. So
Very true.
that is why they always tell you first impressions are so important, because they can never be done over. And so you have people holding on to these first impressions that really weren't true impressions. They were that person's representative.
Yeah, they send the reps out.
Yeah. And so
I'm representing.
it becomes difficult to detach the person from the abuser's first impression.
Yes.
Because it's ingrained. It's just like that first hit of drugs. It forms a synapse in your brain, and it is very difficult to get that first sensation back again. The same thing with cigarettes. That first puff has a really calming sensation, a really euphoric sensation, and you'll never get that again, no matter how many chain smokers or chain smoking experiences you have. You'll never get that feeling again.
Yep. So then you may find yourself what I like to call the goofy loop, like because you want to be in a relationship with the person because you want the violence to stop, and you like, okay, well, he's a great person, he's a wonderful person, but I just want the violence to stop. Then the violence happens again, and you're like, and then he apologizes, and you say, okay, I know you're a great person, I just want the violence to stop, right? And you don't want the relationship to end entirely. You just want the violence to stop, and it's just like, okay, he said he was sorry. I know he's a great person. I'm okay with him. He's wonderful, but I just want him to stop with the violence. And it's just like a goofy loop. It goes over and over and over and over again. Because like Foxy said, you think that they're going to go back to being that first impression person that you met, but that representative is no longer there, right? The real person is there. So when somebody shows you their true colors, when someone shows you who they are, please believe them. All right, please believe them. Culture and religious reasons. I know my background in the Christian, right? My background, I came up as a child in the Christian community. Okay? Okay. So because of that experience, I can now talk about abusive situations and how they relate and culture and religious reasons. So traditional gender roles supported by someone's culture or religion may influence them to stay rather than in the relationship for fear of bringing shame upon their family. All right. Nobody wants to go through divorce, right? So I was raised in the church, and you just didn't divorce. You stuck together and you prayed about it, and you worked it out. You figured out a way for it to you just prayed. You just stayed. You just prayed and stayed in the situation. Nothing got better, right? Nothing ever. You never benefited from anything. You just stayed. You just stayed complacent in the situation, waiting for this outside entity to do something magical in order for you to move forward with your life. And I say to you that there isn't another way. There isn't. There is an alternative. All right, to that, because that can be a goofy loop. Also, you can find yourself in a situation where, the spouse is abusive, and I don't mean, I might say husband or he or whatever, but I also mean women, because there are women who are very, very freaking abusive. And yes, I was shocked at the number of women that abuse men physically. I was shocked at that number, but I want you to realize that, men, I am not bashing you at all. So I do realize that there are women out there who abuse men as well. So, but yes, due to that, the values, religious values, you don't want to. It may be they may consider it a disgrace for you to divorce or leave your husband or wife, right? Because as they figure, as long as you pray about it and as long as y'all aren't killing each other, everything can be worked out. As long as everybody comes to church, or as long as everybody stays prayed up, everything is going to work out. But none of that ever stops the violence. None of that. It may stop it temporarily. Okay. I know, because I grew up in a environment where my stepdad beat my mom all the time. Okay. Hey, that's just what it was. Is that going to stop me, or is that holding me back, or is that doing something to me inside where I can't function? No. Okay, it's not. It is something that I have moved on from. I've healed from it, and you can do that also. You don't have to accept the things that happened to you in the past. You don't have to accept what they could do to you, right? You can release those emotions. You can process those emotions and release them and let them go. Okay? Just like those values that you were taught that made you stay there or accept a abusive relationship in the first place, you can process those emotions, process those feelings, and let them go. Therefore, releasing these relationships that no longer serve you, that don't do anything for you except cause you depression, anxiety, and terminal stress and terminal illnesses like cancers and all this kind of stuff. Why not shift the focus to helping people prevent all of these types of diseases in the body by dealing with the mind, as opposed to shooting a bunch of negative garbage out at them, and trying to do it that way. You shoot a bunch of negative stuff out at them so you can force or sell them something that can help them stop feeling negative after you just bash them with a bunch of negativity. But anyway, let me digress. Anything you want to say about that one?
The till death do us part.
Yes.
Because so many people are married with traditional vows that say until death do us part, in sickness and in health, in good times and bad times. Those do not include abusive relationships. And so a lot of times you'll have people being told that they're going to, I'm sorry.
You okay?
You'll have people being told that they're going to go to hell if they divorce, because Man is not supposed to put asunder what God has put together.
What the Lord has put together.
And I've said it before when I used to teach Christianity. Everything that's put together wasn't put together by God for those who are religious. So to stay in a relationship that is abusive and harmful and potentially deadly and lethal does not go along with the way that your life should be lived. And if you're staying because it said till death do us part, not all death is physical death. Some death is transitional, where you're transitioning from one state of being into another, from one mindset into another.
Right.
And so when you have a death of your old mindset of accepting certain mental abuse or emotional abuse or physical abuse, then that relationship has died and it is time to start a new relationship. So understand that if you're using any type of religious text, that text was not put together during your lifetime, and the definitions and the dialect and the customs and culture were very much different than what you live in today. And so their word for death is not the same as what we may think. And just because you think of death as physical doesn't mean that that's the only type of death. However, if you stay in an abusive relationship for long, it can end in physical death.
Right. So yeah, by no means, I will gladly tell you, do not, for any reason, stay in a relationship where you are being physically abused, because it only takes a very, very small amount of pressure to shake the brain, right, and render you unconscious. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I've heard people brag about being knocked out before and all this kind of good stuff, and as if it was a good thing. But when your brain shakes, it's mm-hmm. not it's not a good thing. It's you get a concussion or you're knocked unconscious. When you're unconscious, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing.
Like, there's literally nothing you can do to protect yourself because you're out. And the amount of abuse, your body can only take so much abuse. And when your body gives up, your spirit is no longer going to stay in a body that is not functioning. Okay? So on a spiritual level, which your own spirituality, your own body function is a miracle in itself. So you don't need any outside entity or outside influence to for you to understand that the way your body is made up and the way your spirit is connected to your body, to understand that simply because you're breathing gives you that dominion that the Bible talks about, because your breathing gives you dominion over everything else. Okay? And but if that's something that I need to break down as well, I'll do that for you. But you don't need to like I said, your body is only going to hold for so long. It's only going to take so much, right? Until it gives up, and your spirit is not going to stay in an unhealthy body, not for long. Correct. Okay? It's not going to stay there for long. It is going to move on, and the body will die, or the body will cease to exist the vibration will return back to dirt. All right, and then the soul will, or the spirit will carry on into the next mission or the next life and begin to live life through that body, or take on another body, or whatever contract you decide to go into. But no, there is no relationship. I don't care what kind of vow you took, or none of that. If I would.
Hell, they took the same damn vows.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to get technical, if they not upholding their end of the bargain, why should you?
Right. And I can guarantee you that death do his part doesn't mean that we're gonna stay together until I beat the hell out of you until you die.
Right.
That doesn't mean that. I can guarantee you that's not what it means. All right. So, anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you can, donate, please. Right? This is definitely going to go to a good cause. What else?
Cash App.
Cash App. Do you remember what it was?
It's $, I speak Foxye.
Do you just write Cash App?
Mm-hmm. Cash.me.
Cash.me. /
$.
Oh, is that / or backslash?
Oh, that, the way you got it.
Okay. What else?
$. I speak Foxye.
Cash me. That's right. I speak Foxye. That right there. That's what donations, right?
Mm-hmm. It's late.
Donations. Yes, thank you so much. Listen, y'all live life to the fullest, man. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, until we come back tomorrow night, it may be 1:00 your time, because we are an hour behind.
Yeah.
So if we forget and don't get on at midnight, it's because we are caught up in our current time zone.
Right.
And so tomorrow we're going to talk about one thing you can do for domestic violence awareness. So think of that until tomorrow, and have something to post on your one thing that you can do.
Live life. Y'all take it easy, man, and try not to do too much. Peace.